You are a partner of South Africa, and you are raising concerns, and these are concerns that we are willing to talk to you about.
Trump's actually going to BDS South Africa for genocide against the white farmers. There's no way. Can you imagine? And if he calls it that as well. We used to have BDS. Now I think it's time for a new BDS. Gonna be big like none you've ever seen. What's happening over there, the murders, it's genocide. It's the worst genocide I've ever seen. The worst kind. And you could take it from me, let me tell you, I know lots of genocides, some of them good people. So this is Trump with the president of South Africa. Okay. God, that's a bass thump, holy shit.
Thank you very much, everyone. It's a great honor to be with the president of South Africa, President Ramaphosa, and he is a man who is certainly in some circles really respected, other circles a little
not
bit less
so
respected. Like all of us, in all fairness, like all
We
of us.
all like that.
We also have a few of my friends. Ernie Els, a great golfer. He's a truly great golfer.
The thing is, I know that people attack South Africa quite a lot because they attack the ANC for becoming like a lot more aligned with or being a lot more appeasing to groups like the Economic Freedom Fighters, who are these like crazy who basically who sing songs about killing Boer farmers and stuff like that. And I think they're also, I don't know, do they openly support Hamas, or is it just kind of like they're accused of doing like under the table? In any case, there's at the very least accusations of them being like just fairly supportive of Hamas. As far as Nelson Mandela's vision goes, there was this whole thing where Mandela wanted, by the mid-2000s, he wanted land ownership in South Africa to be like 30% black, like because land ownership in the country was so skewed towards the white population. So he was like basically trying to pass these policies that would mean that like land transfers and things like that just couldn't just be passed down through inheritance, and there was a lot more like means to do compulsory purchases and things like that. But it never really got there under his rule, and the wealth gap between the white and black population in South Africa is still really big, and the land ownership gap is also pretty massive. There are ways that within the South African constitution that could get around that, but unfortunately it's led to a lot of bitterness, and the ANC have become increasingly kind of corrupt and viewed as incompetent, and it's pushing people increasingly towards more extreme groups, like one of them being the Economic Freedom Fighters, who are run by basically like a Trump-style figure who just like blusters and talks about killing the Boers, and they want to have like a proper government seizure of all the land, which is, you know, not a very good idea, especially since South Africa depends a lot on foreign investment, you know, and if there's one way to get rid of foreign investment, it's by having the government nationalize all the shit, right? Because seizing property is not really the kind of thing that international investors like to be involved with. So, yeah, it still remains to this day, I think. I'm talking about farmland, yes. It still remains to this day that South Africa is still one of the more stable countries in the region. The end of apartheid was a lot more successful than a lot of other like decolonial fucking movements in that region, but yeah, they do face challenges. Malema is Blitler. Blitler. All right.
Retief Goosen, who's other really, we call him really a great golfer too, Ernie, right? You two guys are fantastic, and we could add Gary to the group, Gary Player. What a group of golfers South Africa's had on
Yes.
There must be something in the water, right?
Yes.
Something good. These two guys are
It's
unbelievable.
the water set.
Gary's Gary. And David Frost, also another one that I
Yes.
know is such a great one. Was he as good a putter as
Oh my God, these
he's
golf
a putter,
people.
He's a putter, right? But he's another one, so something very good about South African golf. And golf is still doing great in South Africa. And they have young players, I hear, coming up that are going to be very good. But it's an honor to have you here. And my friend, it's an honor to have you, one of the greatest businessmen in South Africa and long beyond. Thank you for being here. It's very, very great honor. Appreciate it. So we're going to be discussing certain things. As you know, we have The G20 is going to South Africa. When is that going to be?
In November.
In November.
Thereafter, I hand over to you. And
Yes, we have it next.
you originated the G20, so I'll hand over the baton to you,
right.
and then you lead the
That's
G20.
right. We're going to have it.
Yeah.
We're going to have it the following
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
So we'll be discussing many things, and some of the things you've been reading about in the papers
Yes.
and the media. And I would say that, look, the president is a truly respected man in many circles, and in some circles he's considered a little controversial. But we're going to be discussing some of the things that are taking place in South Africa and see if we can help. And we want to help. And we've had a long relationship with South Africa. I have, because indirectly I have so many friends that live there. I have a lot of friends. I mean, these are famous guys, but I have a lot of friends that live there that are tremendous people. And we'll be discussing that. We'll have a
Thoughts on what Yair Golan said? You know, when I spoke to Yair Golan, it wasn't about that, because obviously he hadn't said that at that time. He was talking about a time when I asked him about if he thought, when he described settlers as subhuman, subhumans, and I think that wasn't the bad one though. The bad one was he compared some settler attack to the Holocaust or some shit, or I think some riot. I think it might have been Huara. He called it, like, you compared it to the Holocaust, or. He did actually say that, like, yeah, I put my foot in my mouth sometime. Like, I got a bit over the top. And I think when he was talking about murdering babies for fun, it's like, I think that's one of those examples. Unless he's talking about just like IDF soldiers who aren't being held accountable and things like that, then yeah, maybe. But I don't know if he was blaming like the entire state or the entire military of doing that. It's weird because I need to look back at my interview. When I asked him if he thought there was a lack of accountability in the IDF, he said no. But looking back at it, he might not have understood the question. Like, it might have been the way I worded the question or the way he understood it. But yeah, he does have his gamer moments, for sure. He does have streamer moments.
nice conversation. And
He said killing, not murdering. Okay.
I really appreciate that you guys came along. It really helps us in our thought process. But it is a great honor to have you. I appreciate you called. He called. I don't know where he got my number, but I picked up. He said,
am I gonna die?
Come over and see you.
Am I dead?
That was
I
my
might be
honor.
dead.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
3 seconds on my
Well,
dodge.
thank you very much for welcoming
Fucking
us
hell,
to
sir.
a reformed White House. I've been here before, and it looks really fantastic. I must congratulate you.
You sense
But I
defeat in
also
my WoW
thank you
future.
for
Shut up.
Allowing
I
our
am
delegation.
unfuckable,
This is a
okay?
very mixed
Please.
delegation that you've got. We've got people from government, my ministers. I've got someone from the trade union movement who we really collaborate with, and from business as well, and our sporting legends. When I spoke to you, you said, yes, come along and bring Gary Player, bring any else, and Retief Goosen. I brought the two of them. Gary
what
Player,
happened to
I spoke to him, and he said, look, I'm getting rather on in my years, but wishes us luck in this discussion with you. So it's a real joy, and I'd also like to thank you for allowing your people to start discussions with us at the trade level. I mean, we are essentially here to reset.
Say
the
something stupid,
relationship
Trump.
between the United States
Come on.
and South Africa. We are long-standing partners in many ways. We've collaborated in many fields, in space issues, in energy, and in trade, and we therefore need to reset that, particularly in the light of some of the announcements that you made on trade and investment. So we want to advance more trade between the two of us, two countries, and our people now have been empowered by yourself and by myself to start engaging, and we hope that we will be able to fuel that engagement during our talks. And we also want to discuss issues that have to do with how we promote further investments in both countries. We've got about 22 companies from South Africa that have invested in the US, thus creating a number of jobs. And similarly, you've got almost 600 companies that have invested in South Africa, and some of them have been in South Africa for more than 100 years.
That's true.
So our links are really long-lasting, and we would like to recalibrate those relations between our two countries and discuss a whole range of issues.
Noah doubled down on the calls for violence on his stream. Did he? I thought he... Clip, please, in Discord? He wiped that part from his video. Or was that just because he didn't want it to get flagged? Is that what he did? You can let me know.
Geopolitical, the work that you're doing to bring peace
Aww.
around the world, in Ukraine and in the Middle East. So we value that, and we are also a great contributor to peace processes that are going on around the world. And of course, we want to discuss how we can support each other. You are a much bigger economy than we are. We are just a tiny economy, but we rely on each other on a number of issues.
Yes, I know Kanye said he's done with anti-Semitism. Yes, well done. Yes, he's very complex. Wasn't he done with anti-Semitism because someone wrote a song as well, or some clip? Why do I care? I don't know why people are so interested in Kanye's mental health status right now. God.
But critical minerals that you want to fuel the growth of your own economy and reindustrialize. So we have that on
Jonah
offer,
Hill, yeah.
including rare earth minerals. So all that combination of opportunity and the products that we buy from you, as well as what we sell to you, I believe makes up a really good and powerful relationship, which we need to strengthen, which we need to engender, and that is really what has brought us here. And we are really privileged to have, great South Africans.
You said Noah has made calls for violence on multiple occasions, stating that protesting isn't enough. He read it and said, yes, I agree, protesting isn't enough anymore. Wait, did he say that today, ball guy, 10 to 15 minutes ago? We have to do some scouting. 15, 20 minutes is I need a clip. I don't want to go back through 20 minutes or even 5 minutes of fucking stream. Oh, God. If you go back and, scan through it and maybe tell me, minus how many minutes, I can go and find it there.
In the mix, as you said, you'd like to see them as well. And I brought you a really fantastic
Do I need to get that just for posterity,
book.
I guess?
Weighs 14 kilograms.
I don't care.
And it showcases the golf courses in our country. Johan Rupert wrote
Sure,
preface,
thank you.
so did Annie else. And I want to showcase our golf courses.
Yeah.
You might remember when I spoke to you, and we spoke about golf, you said I should start practicing. And I've started practicing, President, so I'm ready.
Or the plus, yeah.
But let me end just the
That makes more
introductory
sense.
remarks by thanking you. You may not recall that 5 years ago I spoke to you during the COVID period.
Right.
And it was at a time when the whole world was going through a really cathartic moment.
Right.
And we asked for assistance, and you were able to assist us with respirators. Respirators, and you kept to your word, and you delivered respirators to us. We didn't have as many in our country, and it really helped to help us deal with COVID.
Look Vance dead in the eye when you say thank you.
To say thank you and to
Hey,
thank the people of
he did it.
America for having helped us during a really difficult time. Being the small economy that we are, we needed help from around the world, and you were there to provide that. So thank you very much.
I remember the call.
Yeah,
We
thank
sent
you.
150 respirators. We became the respirator king. We started
The
making them.
respirator
Nobody had
king.
them. We
Yes.
had very few of them.
That's right.
But they were very helpful. But we sent 150, and
Yeah.
and I appreciated the letter. You wrote me a letter, and
That's right. Yeah.
thank
yeah.
I
Well,
appreciate
thank you
that very much.
Thank you very much for that. It really touched my heart after I spoke to you, and you delivered.
It's a great honor.
Thank you very much indeed. Yeah. Yeah.
Any questions, please?
Mr. President, you welcome white Afrikaner refugees here. Can you explain to Americans why it's appropriate to welcome white Afrikaners here
Thanks for the $10. Totally funny, dude. Really appreciate it.
when other refugees like Afghans, Venezuelans, Haitians have all had their protective status revoked?
Well,
Oh.
this is a group,
Ah.
NBC, that is truly fake news. They ask a lot of questions in a very pointed way. They're not questions, they're statements. We've had tremendous complaints about Africa, about other countries too, from people. They say there's a lot of bad things going on in Africa, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. When you say we don't take others, all you have to do is take a look at the southern border. We let 21 million people come through our border, totally unchecked, totally unvetted. They came from all over the world. In many cases, they're criminals. They come from prisons. They come from mental institutions. They come from street gangs. They're drug dealers. So don't say that we didn't take them. We're trying to get them out as fast as we can. And we're doing record business on that. And we just won a big case where we're allowed to send back hundreds of criminals to Venezuela. Just won that today in the Supreme Court.
Venezuela.
I'm happy to hear. But we do have a lot of people are very concerned with regard to South Africa, and that's really the purpose of the meeting, and we'll see how that turns out. But we have many people that feel they're being persecuted, and they're coming to the United States. So we take from...
How many people are actually coming? I think it's like fuck all, isn't it? Because this has always just been like some mad white nationalist talking point. Like it's never really accelerated to anything. And this is like the best... This is probably because it's like the closest you're gonna get to like en masse like persecution of whites, like the targeting of whites. But I don't know. Fuck. It's been like 50. Yeah, it's fuck all, man. God, please.
Need assistance?
Many locations, if we feel there's persecution or genocide going on.
Genocide.
And we had a lot of people. I must tell you, Mr. President, we have had a tremendous number of people, especially since they've seen this. Generally, they're white farmers, and they're fleeing South Africa, and it's a very sad thing to see. But I hope we can have an explanation of that, because I know you don't want that. It's a kind of a different meeting. Normally, we have meetings, we talk about trade, and we'll be talking about trade and other things. But that certainly will be a subject that comes up. Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah,
Brian?
Thank you very much. I'd like to get your thoughts on Letitia James. Director Pulte, according to him, Letitia James says that the alleged mortgage fraud was simply a mistake. I want to get your thoughts on that. She put down that her father was her husband in order, and this is very similar to, I guess, the false attacks they had on
Hemorrhage.
Well, I don't know what it is currently, but Letitia James, who's the Attorney General of New York State, it seemed, I'm not involved in that at all. I know that it's being handled by...
Wow, totally funny dude. Thanks for the $20. I think you meant to do 4 space 20 to get your 420, but thank you so much. God damn. So generous.
Various groups, I guess, but it's major fraud, mortgage documents, and fraudulent everything. Yeah, I think she said the father was her husband, which she had to have a husband, or so she chose her father. And she put it down, and she had didn't she sign in Virginia, yet she said she lived in Virginia, yet she's the New York State Attorney General, and she did that for tax reasons, so she could take advantage of taxes. And she had the wrong number of units. She had a much different number, which wouldn't have allowed her to qualify and scam the government. So I don't know. I think she's very bad for New York, but I really don't know too much about it. But I appreciate the question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Yes.
Mr. President, for you to be convinced that there's no genocide.
Please.
Thank you, Mr. President.
What a
So
fucking
May 25th
bellow.
will be the celebration of Africa Day, which pretty much a lot of celebration will be taking place around the world, including here in the United States. What is your message to the entire African continent, African people, in this important occasion?
Well, I want to see peace, and I want to see happiness. I want to see health, and you have incredible land. There's tremendous value. A lot of countries don't have that value in the land. The value you have. We have a situation. I think you probably heard about it. We've done through some very talented people, helped settle a war that's been raging for years, Rwanda and the Congo. And I think we've done it. Believe it or not, I think we've done it. And could you just say a few words about that, my friend?
Yes. A couple of weeks ago, the two parties signed a declaration of principle in which they've agreed on the way forward. And they have both submitted draft peace agreements, and we have put together one that incorporates both of their suggestions, and we've given it to them. So we're in the process of finalizing this
Looking
piece of
good,
it.
right?
Looking very good.
No, we have to thank you for even those efforts, because the African continent, particularly SADC, our Southern African Development Community, has for years been seeking to foster peace in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So all efforts, including those from outside the continent and inside the continent, are really worthwhile. We are removing our troops from there so that peace can then prevail in that whole area. And we hope that with the support of the international community, we will really have peace in that area. It's so vital, it's so important for the whole region.
Well, we sent our people there, and I think we did a very good job, as headed by my friend. And that was great. That was great. I mean, I'm just hearing phenomenal reports, because all I'm hearing is death, and they're chopping heads off, and it's horrible over there.
Oh no.
And it was really brave of you to go there, and I really appreciate it. And it looks like we have something very, very substantial. We also talked about trade with them in terms of rare earth and all, but really more for it's like if you take a look.
Okay, I keep forgetting what the rare earth meme is. Is it because it's rare earth minerals, but he just keeps calling it rare earth, or rare earth metals? It's rare earth metal, isn't it? That's the thing that people want. It's a lot, mostly in China. Yeah? Alright then.
Look at what we just did with Pakistan and India. We settled that whole thing, and I think I settled it through trade. We're doing a big deal with India. We're doing a big deal with Pakistan, and I said, "What are you guys doing?" You know, somebody had to be the last one to shoot, but the shooting was getting worse and worse,
raw
bigger
earth.
and bigger,
The
deeper
raw
and
earth
deeper
was the
into the
meme, okay.
countries. And we spoke to them, and I think I hate to say we got it settled, and then 2 days later, something happens, and they say it's Trump's fault. But Pakistan has got some excellent people and some really good, a great leader. And India is my friend, Modi. And he's a
Mutual friend?
Yeah, he's a great guy. And I called them both, and we just did something good. We're trying to settle Russia, Ukraine. We spoke with President Putin for 2.5 hours the day before yesterday. I think we made a lot of progress, but that's a bloodbath. 5,000 people are being killed a week, 5,000 soldiers a week, not including people in cities and towns that are also being killed. So we're trying to help. And it doesn't affect us. It's not our people. It's not our soldiers. It's Ukraine and it's Russia. But if we can save 5,000 souls, we'll do it. We're pretty good at it. But that's a bad situation. That is a really bad situation.
Well, you'd recall when President Zelensky was coming to South Africa, that's when I spoke to you.
That's right.
We both agreed that we need to push the peace message so that there can really be peace.
Glaze, get the
And
glaze.
we've been involved in the Ukraine-Russia conflict for quite a while through my Minister of State Security here. We've been dealing with them, the exchange of children who were taken away, going through names and addresses and all that. So we've been invested in that whole process as well. And the moves that you are making are fully supported by us, because we would like to see the end of that war.
True. I called Zelensky, and they said, he's in South Africa. I said, what the hell is he doing in South Africa? We got this week. I said, what are you doing in South Africa?
Yes.
That's a strange one.
He's trying to make peace. We're taking him. We were lucky because we had the great Nelson Mandela, who taught us how to create peace, to make peace. So we were imparting some of those lessons to him, some of those learnings. And I specifically mentioned to him that this is how Nelson Mandela taught us, that when you want to have a peace...
Bro, is a fucking spider really getting like...
That's not why I backed out of the event.
Is Spider really getting like 300 and something live viewers just on these premieres? That's actually quite good. That's not that bad. Look at this. The drama frogs. That's funny.
In a country, do it on an unconditional basis and sit down and talk. And that's precisely what I'm sure he's going to heed.
Well,
going
we're going to
forward.
see what happens with that one. It's a lot of there's a lot of hatred.
Yeah.
There's a lot of death. It's a bloodbath. It's a
It is.
bloodbath.
It is.
I get the
Unfortunately.
I get the satellite pictures of that field, of that killing field.
Mm-hmm.
You never saw anything like it in your life. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing that it goes on, but I think we've made big progress.
Sir, on the-
Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Gaza
No,
is
no,
another-
not you.
Is a bit-
Right here. He's from South Africa.
Yeah, from
Go ahead,
South
please.
Africa. What are you expecting on the ICJ case? Are you expecting South Africa to drop that? Is that what you're trying to
On
raise?
which case?
The ICJ case against Israel,
Criminal Justice.
International Criminal Court.
I don't expect anything, to be honest.
Did he not know what the ICJ is? He definitely didn't know what the ICJ was. Okay.
I really don't. I don't know. It's they've got a case. There's a lot of anger there, tremendous anger. I don't expect anything. We'll see what happens. We'll have a ruling, and who knows what the ruling is going to mean. Yeah.
On that subject of Gaza,
He's sitting next to the guy who brought the case forward. That's good. That is quite funny.
Mr. President, are you going to be speaking to Prime Minister Netanyahu about Israel's renewed offensive there? There's been a lot of concern from European countries. The Pope has expressed concern. Are you going to be asking Prime Minister Netanyahu to tone down the offensive in Gaza, to let more aid in?
Was that a question or a statement?
It's a question.
This guy's, you never change.
Mr. President, decide what will
Please.
it take from you for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Wow.
Well, I can answer that for the president.
Uh-oh.
It's, for him, no,
I'd
seriously.
rather have him answer.
Sure, I'd rather answer that. It will be.
Our president will respond to you.
Yeah, let me.
Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some
Oh,
of whom
no.
are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on the quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So it'll take him, President Trump, listening
Oh, no.
to their stories, to their
Oh,
perspective.
no. Go back to golf.
That is the answer
Talk about
to your
golf.
question.
But, Mr. President, I must say that we have, wait. We have thousands of stories talking about it.
Sure.
And we have documentaries, we have news stories, and that. Is Natalie
There's no way he's watched the Lauren Southern fucking documentary, is it? Oh, no.
here? Somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things, and I have to, it has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure,
We
we
have,
will.
let me see the articles, please, if you would, and turn the lights
Oh,
down.
my God.
Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president,
Oh, no.
from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land.
Yes.
South African occupy land. That's who we are.
Honorable
Whatever
member,
I want to do, I can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament.
Honorable. Yes, honorable member.
Must never be scared to kill. A revolution.
Is this Malema? Malema that they're listening to? Oh, no. I don't actually know how you say his name. Is it Malema? The Mr. Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer guy. Context. Well, this is the ANC's opponent. This is the opposition party. They have last time I checked, they had about 10% of the vote. No? And I think their big policy that they're trying to push through the legislature is expropriation without compensation. They want to expropriate the white farmers and just give it to the blacks. That's what they want to. I'm using that word tongue in cheek. Yeah, that's what they want to do. And obviously that's a very dumb policy given the the outcomes. It wouldn't really. It's just one of those kind of acts of desperation or like fucking impatient gestures that people do because they think it'll result in some kind of like restitution or like some long-awaited justice, but it doesn't. It never does. Like doing that kind of shit in that way does not lead to justice. It's also, the land wouldn't even be going to like black people who need it. It would be going to it would be going to the government, and you would just hope that the government managed it in a responsible way. So pretty goofy.
Demand that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot to kill, Yamasa. Kill the poor, the farmer.
Yeah, this is him, yeah.
Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa.
Trump's just sitting on the... Yeah, you just know Trump and Vance are just sitting on the shitters, like listening to this and being like, oh my God, it's terrible out there. It's terrible.
The mayor of DA in PE is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man.
Come on, there's such an easy out here for Ramaphosa, right? Because he just has to be like, yeah, this is, bro, this is my opposition. This is the guy that I'm trying to keep out of power. What are you talking about? Yeah, but...
Not because Mashaba and Soli will not be touched. They will be touched, don't worry. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness. It's like shoot to kill Yamasa. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Pa, pa.
Where do you want me to put the clip? Discord, if you could. Just in the... Oh, hang on. Put it in... You should have access to stream suggestions, right? Put it there. Like it's like the South African president should just retort with a video of Jill Stein saying dumb shit. It's like that, is that kind of equivalent?
To kill Hamasa, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer, pa,
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying you was not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter. They freak out. It sounds like a genocide.
Holy shit. Retort by posting Hasan Piker videos. He might as well. Yeah, okay, so slight difference. I think the EFF currently have... I think they're the fourth largest party. Is it still only 10% of the vote that they've got, or are they polling higher now? I'm guessing, like, the problem with ANC corruption is just that, like, people, dickheads like this are only going to get more popular, but... He's not the South African government. The government is sitting with Trump, and that guy opposes the government. So it's like... It's lower than 10%. What, did they drop, or was it always lower? I thought they got 10% of the vote last time, but that was like 2022, I last checked. I haven't been doing Professor Flowers' discourse for a good while now. And then these are the guys who will stand up for this wanker and be like, oh, you're tone policing the oppressed. Like, fuck off. But this guy's a political leader. What are you talking about? The whole point of the Rainbow Nation, of reconciliation and the end of apartheid was nation building with different cultures and different races. It was with saying, we're not going to deport all the whites in some fucking bloodbath and vengeance. We're going to share the country. We are going to reassure white people that, like, however they got here, they live here. This is like their home. We just want equality. We want equality, not revenge. That was the statement. That's like basically the fucking phrase. This guy obviously wants a bit more than equality. He wants revenge. They got 9% in the last elections, but the ANC lost the majority. 10.7. Okay, mental. All right. I'm just very interested to see how the president handles this, because it's pretty weak from Trump, but we'll see. Like this like white genocide in South Africa thing is just like the ultimate fucking hinge, like ultimately, it's the ultimate just like nothing claim that just hinges completely on conjecture and like low information and a lack of interest. But who knows? This is the clip. Thank you.
Smart move on not covering current events, by the way. You mean specific current events or in general? Because yeah, I think 2 pro-peace Jews dead. Read what they were saying. Pro-peace is crazy. Yes, I did. Noah has repeatedly made calls to violence and multiple protesting isn't enough. Goodbye. No, I'm scared. Oh, I'm scared. YouTube video scared me. No.
It's just the classic
that sentiment, though, is 1,000% true. That protesting isn't enough.
Okay. But also that you want other people to fuck up their lives and do it for you. Cowardly, fucking dead behind the eyes piece of shit. Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay, that's a good clip. That's a good, strong clip. Thanks. What did he say near the end? What, he said protesting isn't doing enough. He agrees with this with the sentiment. Let's see. Who... Ooh, Mossad, Shin Bet, ADL, APAC, IDF. Okay. I know what we're doing. Yeet. I'm sorry. Happy birthday, Shabbat Shalom. Shmoy, 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 shmoy. Okay. All right.
Who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Now this is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites.
Is this what, this long fucking 1,000?
Of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers. The family.
Really? Is that this? Okay, hang on.
And those cars aren't.
They're all murdered, are
driving.
they?
They're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed.
Where did he get this from? It's a demonstration. 2020. It was a demonstration following the murder of 2 farmers killed during a robbery. The crosses were meant to memorialize and draw attention to people who've been killed over the years, so they're not graves. Okay. Oh no. Fucking Queen Caroline. Stolen genocide valor. Murders of farmers make up less than 1% of all murders in South Africa. There were 51 murders on farms in 2022 to 23. Figures that aren't delineated by race. Out of a total of nearly 27,500 murders in the country. Yeah, like people, bro, so many fucking... I think in 1 year, every year in South Africa, in 1 year, like... The number of farmers that are killed every year in South Africa is like lower than the number of murders total in the country in a day. Like more people overall are murdered in South Africa in 1 day than farmers are killed in the entire year. And that's not even to mention white farmers, but fuck's sake. Okay.
And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it.
Terrible.
Both sides of the road.
And he thinks he's looking at the fucking poppy fields. And fucking, he thinks he's looking at one of these poppy fields in post-war Europe and shit. Jesus.
Crosses.
That is quite insane.
Those people were all killed.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen. But, okay.
I mean, it's in South Africa.
I need to find out.
I need to find out. Oh no. Don't make it sound like you're just learning about the genocide on the spot, Mr. President. The white genocide.
I don't know. I don't know. No. Okay.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced that it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One. Perhaps
what are you talking about?
Can we have a South Africa question, please? Mr. President,
Mr. President,
The Qatari Jet. They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw.
Oh, no.
You know, you're a terrible reporter. You don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing, they also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back, you ought to go back to your studio at NBC, because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions. Go ahead, talk about that.
Please, may we have a South African
His name
question,
is Peter
Mr.
something.
President
He's
Trump?
a terrible
If they're
reporter.
committing genocide, why invite them to the White House? I'll be quiet. Sure, that's my question now. Let's go.
Thank you so much, President Trump. Annika Larson from ENCA in South Africa. Thank you very much for hosting us. What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation that we've just seen on the screen?
I don't know. Look, these are articles over the last few days. Death of people.
Yeah, two. Death. Again, it's like, yeah, there are murders in South Africa. Yes. But there's not a fucking mass grave that, like, has miles of cars lined up to go and pay fucking memorials to. Jesus Christ. It's always genocide on these streams. Jeez Louise. Why isn't this fucking thing sending? Bro. Death. Okay. Shit's being dumb. 1 minute. Ugh. Fuck me. Why are you being cringe, dude? This work? Come on. Death. Alright, let's try this.
Horrible death. Death. I don't know.
But you know that
Pick anyone. White South Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws. And this is all. I mean, I'll give these to you. So when you say, what would I like to do? I don't know what to do. Look at this. White South African couple say that they were attacked.
Out of interest, has anyone made any claim, the shooting, has anyone made any claim about what the girl was saying? Do we know? The guy has been accused of downplaying the threats about humanitarian aid, right? Of saying that that there is actually enough aid in Gaza, and it's all propaganda or whatever. That's a tweet from the guy. I don't know what was the girl saying. Also, neither of these things justify fucking murdering them, you fucking idiot. But here and there, haven't seen anything regarding the girlfriend.
Violent.
President Trump, when will you go and see for yourself if it is?
Well, I can do that. Look, here's burial sites all over the place. These are all white farmers that are being buried.
President Trump.
And he asks about a jet that was given.
My first question.
A jet.
You are so bad. You're such a bad reporter.
If they're committing genocide, why invite them? So if they are committing genocide, why invite the South Africans to the White House?
May I finish, please, President Trump? Mr. President
This
Trump.
is one after another. This family was wiped out. I'm just looking.
Can we get a response from President Ramaphosa? Give us your reaction to those videos, Mr.
President Trump, could you?
Well, I think the videos are so. No. When you look at the videos, I mean, how does it get worse? And these are people that are officials, and they're saying that kill the white farmer and take their land. That's what it is. And I have other friends in South Africa. I have people that left. One in particular that says you can't go there. He said they want to take your land. They take your land and they kill you. It's okay, and they say it's okay to do. Now we're going to talk about it, but this is a tremendous look. This is a story recent. These are all people that recently got killed.
Yeah, Trump unironically did the thing. You're asking me about a jet in the middle of a white genocide? How dare you? Oh no. He's using the Boers as human shields. Fuck. Everyone's at it.
I don't know how it can get any worse. These are and you know the men that you saw, the people that you saw in that movie, those are officials. Those are people that were in office. They had one march. They had a dance in your parliament, whatever you may call it, legislature.
Let me clarify that.
Yeah.
Let me clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can take land.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
Nothing.
There is
nothing happens to them.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now
the farmers aren't black. The farmers are not black. I don't say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they tell me, to pay respect.
Kind of karma, they have genocide claims after they did the ICJ case. I think that's kind of dumb. I don't know. Like the genocide claim against South Africa is just the weakest. There is nothing weaker. It's literally like tens of thousands of people get murdered in South Africa every year, and 50 of them or less, usually less, are white. And people say there's a white genocide happening. And this party that has 10% of the vote or less right now says kill the Boer in no fucking chance.
To their loved ones that were killed, their heads chopped off, they died violently.
Terrible.
And,
terrible deaths.
We're here to talk about it, and I didn't know we'd get involved here. But I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake, like NBC, which is fake news, one of the worst, ABC,
Hell
NBC,
yeah.
CBS,
Fake news.
horrible. But if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it. But the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that. They don't want to talk about it, but now they have to talk about it. But they won't. This won't even be a subject. They'll have him talking about why did a country give a free, think of this, why did a country give an airplane to the United States Air Force? Okay? The United States, not to me, to the United States Air Force, so they could help us out, because we need an Air Force One until that's Air Force One, it's being built. 2 of them being built. But Boeing's a little bit late, unfortunately. So why did they give us a plane to the United States Air Force? That's what that idiot talks about after viewing a thing where thousands of people are dead.
I'm sorry, I don't have a plane to give you.
I wish you did.
Oh.
I would take it. If your country offered the United States Air Force a plane, I would take it.
Okay.
We'd let you commit all the genocides if you give me a plane.
Which I really would like us to talk about, and talk about it very calmly. We were taught by Nelson Mandela that whenever there are problems, people need to sit down around a table and talk about them.
Well, there are
and
problems.
this is precisely what we would also like to talk about, including, of course, trade matters, investment matters. So the issues that
Mate, you're getting
concern
tariffed.
you as the United States,
Those are all recent.
and
You were getting tariffed
in many
so
ways,
fucking hard,
I mean,
bro.
One should say you are a partner of South Africa, and you are raising concerns, and these are concerns that we are willing to talk to you about.
Trump's actually going to BDS South Africa for genocide against the white farmers. There's no way. Can you imagine? And if he calls it that as well. We used to have BDS. Now I think it's time for a new BDS. It's going to be big like none you've ever seen. What's happening over there, the murders, it's genocide. It's the worst genocide I've ever seen. The worst kind. And you could take it from me, let me tell you, I know lots of genocides, some of them good people. The big, beautiful BDS bill. Holy shit, fuck's sake.
Let me just add quickly, you know, the criminality that we are experiencing in our country needs quite a lot of technological capability. And in one of our areas in South Africa, we're using US technology, which is able to, in many ways, identify where shootings are happening and all that. And I'd like to talk about that because there is support that we can get from you as the United States to help us deal with all these acts of criminality. And that is what I believe partnership is all about. And we are here as a partner so that we can help each other whenever there are challenges. So I'd like us to discuss it, and of course outside of the media, so that we sit down and have a really good discussion that will lead to good outcomes.
Are there any other punitive measures that could be in place should you not be satisfied that South Africa is fixing some of the very bad things, in inverted commas, that you tweeted are happening?
Well, there are a lot of bad things happening in many countries, but this in particular.
This in particular is the worst kind.
Because of
Fuck
we're going to have the whole world watching in another short period of time. Because
they talk about Gaza all the time. But what about white Gazans? Fuck me. They talk about the Palestinians. What about white? My God. Holy shit.
At the G20, and that's a big deal. And it seems like, I want you to look good. I don't want you to look bad.
Very good.
But we have hundreds of people, thousands of people trying to come into our country because they feel they're going to be killed and their land is going to be confiscated. And you do have laws that were passed that gives you the right to confiscate land for no payment. You can take away land for no payment.
I want to clarify.
They didn't pass that though, did they? Did they pass expropriation without compensation? I don't think they did they? Or it's been 2 years. Maybe they did. Expropriation without compensation, South Africa. Oh, it got signed in January? Only in circumstances where it is just and equitable and in the public interest. It used to be the principle of a willing seller and willing buyer. This includes if the property is not being used and there's no intention to develop or make money from it, or when it poses a risk to people. Was this something that the they called it a cop-out? Yeah, so I think was this supposed to try and appease the EFF, but they weren't happy about it because it probably has loads of limitations. But it's probably the kind of thing that could be abused, right? It could easily be abused. Oh, expropriation may not be exercised unless the expropriating authority has without success attempted to reach an agreement with the owner. Oh, okay. That is very different from what the EFF wants.
Because we have a constitution. Our constitution guarantees and protects the sanctity of tenure of land ownership. And that constitution protects all South Africans with regard to land ownership. However, we do say, because we've got to deal with the past, the government, and as your government also has the right to expropriate land for public use.
And you're doing that.
And we've never really gotten underway with that. And we are going to be doing
you're
so.
You're taking people's land away
we have not.
from them.
We have,
and those people, in many cases, are being executed. They're being executed. And they happen to be white, and most of them happen to be farmers.
What?
And that's a tough situation. I don't know how you explain that. How do you explain that?
Hasan talking about the shooting and calling it a Mossad false flag? No fucking shot. If I find out he's not saying that, because he's probably not, you're getting banned, bro. You're getting a huge ban.
That virtually no one believes. White people in South Africa don't fucking believe it. And only a select handful neo-Nazis, advanced conspiracy theory. And Donald Trump is one of those guys now.
He's not even talking about the shooting. What are you talking about? He's not even talking about the shooting.
This isn't Trump, it's just a staffer.
No, that's Trump. Trump is full on.
That virtually no one...
Shut up.
Also having like the fucking red keffiyeh on the ground, like all of that is so perfectly placed for the okay, like entirely about Israel. The victims are Israeli embassy workers, and not only that, but also like one of the dudes that work for the Israeli embassy is a German Christian, like a German Christian that was I guess he like changed his name or something. I don't know what the fuck was going on there. Like but
he's got a Jewish dad. This is he's got a Jewish dad. Did the shooter know who he was targeting? It seemed like these two people were just standing outside at the what was it, the Central Jewish Museum.
Regardless, this could have been anti-Semitic or not. I don't know. Could he have known that they were staff, or did he just target random people leaving the museum? Impossible to tell. And the possibility of backlash from the state is terrifying. This is how Kristallnacht started. Exactly.
Wait, what?
And to be yes.
Kristallnacht start. Wait, what? Okay.
I don't think that the person who like the gunman knew exactly who the fuck he was targeting. And the reality of the matter is,
that seems to be based on what we know. I doubt he was collecting intel on these two fucking people. Given that the woman seems to be like not even a massively public figure. But okay,
I'll give you
these guys aren't exactly big names.
I'll give you an example. Yeah, the dude fucking also volunteered for the IDF, even though he's dude. I thought they were Israelis. What the fuck? No, the dude is.
A young man purchased a ring this week with the intention of proposing to his girlfriend next week in Jerusalem.
The suspect, who's now in custody, was identified
the
by
woman was
police
Jewish,
as
right?
30-year-old Elias Rodriguez from Chicago. The FBI says it's investigating ties to potential terrorism and his motivation.
The suspect chanted, "Free, free Palestine," while in custody.
Witnesses say Rodriguez was with them inside the museum after the shooting before they realized who he was.
So about 10 minutes later, when the cops actually came in, he said, "I did this." He said, "Sir, I'm unarmed." He put his hands up. He grabbed a red keffiyeh out of his pocket and started the Free Palestine chants.
President Trump responded to the
like,
shooting.
Dude, oh my God. He hit like every fucking button he possibly could.
We don't like witness
By the way, he was
statements?
Christian. She
Okay.
was an American Jew. None of them were Israeli, yet they are literally working for Israel. Insane that these people don't have to register as foreign agents. I know, it's kind of the point. This is how it works.
What? Okay.
Like
they were
it's
staff
just-
for the embassy. Yeah.
If he had yelled from the river to the sea, that would have nuked him. No, dude. Him saying free Palestine and also having like the fucking red keffiyeh on the ground, like all of that is so perfectly placed for the government to say, if you have a red keffiyeh, you're going to jail. You're a terrorist. If you say free Palestine, you're going to jail. You're a terrorist. Like it is. I don't think it's a false flag or anything, but it's so perfectly designed.
He's literally not saying it's a false flag.
For the government to utilize in an effort to stop people from saying like, Israel, please stop murdering children.
He's saying that it's like the perfect gift to the government is what he's saying. He's doing the whole thing like he's doing the coward's condemnation is what he's doing. He's doing the coward's condemnation, which is when you say like this is bad because it's unproductive, not because the people didn't deserve to die, not because the kind of rhetoric that I've been spewing for the last year and a bit about Zionists, again, like people who are who I think are like even marginally Zionist, which would mean working at the Israeli embassy for sure, okay, should be treated like fucking Nazis. Well, what did we do to Nazis? Oh, we killed them, right? No, he's not saying it's staged. He's saying like, oh, this is like perfect for the government to use and abuse. That's why he's comparing it to Kristallnacht, because Kristallnacht was when a Polish or a French Jew shot and killed that Nazi fucking diplomat, like a low-level one. He was looking for a higher target, but he didn't find him, so he went for this like low-level diplomat, and then that was used by Goebbels to and Hitler to incite Kristallnacht. That's why he's not saying it's a false flag. But okay. It's still retarded, but it's not him saying it's a false flag.
They're taking.
Whatever. I just want to. I'm just going to be a gamer. We're going to see two things. Okay, one, we're going to see all of the people who were experts on stochastic terrorism during Christchurch have immediately forgotten every fucking talking point that they spewed about that particular interaction. Second of all, everyone's just going to pretend. Like this whole thing about saying, oh, you're making Jews unsafe by conflating Zionism with Judaism like Israel does. Like, as if these people ever said that shit about fucking ISIS or Al Qaeda or anyone else in 2015, 16, 17 during like massive Islamophobic attacks, right? No one ever went to these people and said like, oh, we need to talk about accountability in the Muslim world because look at all these Islamic like countries like Pakistan that are like harboring terrorists, and look at look at ISIS and look at what the Islamic world's doing with look at Hamas. Like, no one ever said this. No one ever like shifted the blame in any fucking way to these groups. They just said they attacked the Islamophobes. That's what they did. They attacked the Islamophobes. Do you remember? I mean leftists. Sulfur. I mean leftists. And when right-wingers used to blame it on fucking ISIS and everything else, rightfully people called it out because Islamophobia is not caused by Islamic extremists doing things in fucking Syria or whatever. It's Islamophobes that do it. People are adults. They have choices. They have choices on whether or not they're going to like take out the crimes of one subset of a population on another one that's like thousands of miles away. But now every fucking leftist is going to say like, oh, are going to get asked, really? So you'd say the same for like if there's an Islamophobic attack, you would say, well, maybe ISIS should stop claiming what they're doing is in the name of Islam, or maybe Hamas should stop doing it. And they'd say, yeah, of course I would say that. Like, even though that was like only right-wingers used to say that when it came to Islamophobia. But okay. Do you understand what I'm saying? Am I making sense? Fuck.
People's land away, and in many cases those people are being executed, and in many cases it's not the government that's doing it, it's people that kill them and then take their land, and nothing happens to them. But we have thousands of people that want to come into our country. They're also going to Australia in a smaller number. But we have thousands of people that want to come into our country, and they're white farmers, and they feel that they're going to die in South Africa.
Are you saying right-wingers were correct or wrong? They were wrong. They were wrong. You shouldn't try to hold Islamic states accountable for the fucking Christchurch shooting, okay? Even though some Islamic states that literally have Arab or Islamic or like Muslim state written in their constitutions, right, have helped terrorism. That's not like a thing that anyone denies. That doesn't mean that you would hold them accountable for Christchurch. The accountability for Christchurch would be held towards the people who spread the rhetoric about fucking great replacement or all Muslims follow the same marching orders, or making these calls to action and saying it's really urgent and we're losing our country and like the sky's fucking falling, you need to take action now, protesting's not helping. That's what we took. That's who was held accountable, not fucking Pakistan or... You know what I'm saying? Okay, fuck.
It's a bad thing. Yeah, please.
What can South Africa do? What concessions would you like to see them make to improve relations with the United States? Then I have one more for President Ramaphosa afterwards.
Well, you know, we just spoke about, I got them a very, very complex machine, 150 of them. And I was asked by the president if it could help, and I did that. And, you know, I have great feeling for all countries. I deal with all countries. But I have a great feeling for South Africa because I have friends. I have a couple of friends, a few friends here today. But I have many friends from South Africa. But many of those friends are not, they can't go back. I have Elon is from South Africa. I don't want to get Elon involved. That's all I have to do. Get him.
Does anyone? I know there's that whole meme about all these countries that call themselves Islamic states or Arab states, or their constitutions basically do their constitutions all have like these equivalents of what people would call the nation state law of Israel. Does Qatar have one as well? I know Pakistan calls itself like the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, right? Is it the Islamic Republic or what's Pakistan's full name? What's the full name of the country? The official name is the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Yeah. What is Qatar full name? The state of Qatar. I wonder what its constitution says about Islam. Does Pakistan also have special immigration laws for Muslims? I don't know if Pakistan does in particular, but quite a lot of these Arab or like North African or Middle Eastern Muslim countries, a lot of these countries do have citizenship laws that favor Muslims. Yeah. A lot of people don't. I think people forget that, right? Like, yeah, people forget that. But I need to find all the examples. It'd be good to compile them, because then it would be like, really. So if you think that it's Israel's fault for conflating itself with Judaism, then we should just blame like this long list of Muslim countries for the next white supremacist terror attack.
Into another thing, but Elon happens to be from South Africa. This is what Elon wanted. he actually came here on a different subject, sending rockets to Mars. Okay, yes. He likes that better. He likes that subject better. That's right. But Elon is from South Africa, and I don't want to talk to him about that. I don't want to. I don't think it's fair to him.
That's right.
But I will say that people are fleeing South Africa for their own safety. Their land is being confiscated, and in many cases they're being killed. And that scene of, you see how many crosses they have. Those crosses, that's a dead person in every one of them.
No,
and
it's
those
not. Oh my
cars
God.
Are paying their respects to all
God,
of them.
he really thinks there's a white genocide in South Africa, eh? Holy shit. Oh my God. Hey, McNatt and Upstate Trash, block each other and fucking stop ruining my chat. Jesus Christ. Take it somewhere else. The fucking scrapping in chat is so cringe. Ugh. Lorna, what do you think about the possibility that 2 people have literally just died due to heeding the call to action that Noah Samsen did? I don't actually care if he saw that Noah clip or not. Like, if that was whether or not he watched that and that was the straw that fucking broke the camel's back and gave him the final push. This is, I don't care. For the same purpose that, like, when Lauren Southern used to try to say that she never spoke about Great Replacement before the shooter had made up his mind to carry out an attack, which is not true, by the way. She was talking about it before he decided to do the attack. It's not about whether or not they were the one that actually caused the decision. It's that they are part of a broader ecosystem and they contribute to an ecosystem that allows this rhetoric to become more normalized and puts it in front of more and more eyeballs, that you increase the chances of these things happening. That's the condemnation. The condemnation is that it's not like a results-based analysis. It's about the act in and of itself. Where are these fucking marshmallows? But
those dead people on a Sunday morning, that's a rough thing to explain away. And the problem we have, and the way, a correct and a fair media exposes things, but we have a very corrupt media. They won't even report this. If this were the other way around, it would be the biggest story. Now, I will say, apartheid, terrible. That was the biggest story. That was reported all the time. This is
but this white genocide never gets reported.
What's happening now is never
reported.
What
about white apartheid? What about apart white?
Knows about it.
What about Nelson Mandela?
All we know is we're being inundated with people, with white farmers from South Africa, and it's a big problem. Marco Rubio was telling me he's never seen anything like it. The numbers of people that want to leave South Africa because they feel they're going to be dead very soon.
Yeah,
yes,
I was going to say,
Brian,
if I could just ask you a question. 72% of farmers in your country are white. If they flee, do you feel that maybe the economy could collapse? You may not have a gap to fill in those people that
fuck all of them are fleeing because this isn't like a big issue to them. Okay.
Need to replace those farmers.
I'd like my Minister of
Nelson Mandela. I like that
who
one.
is white, who comes from an opposition party to mine, who's joined my government at my invitation to address this very issue, including the question that you've just raised. John?
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Yeah.
And Mr. President, thank you for welcoming us to the White House. I would say we have a rural safety problem in South Africa, and I don't think anyone wants to candy coat that. And it requires a lot of effort to get on top of it. It's going to require more policing resources. It's going to require a different strategy to be able to deal with it. But certainly the majority of South Africa's commercial and smallholder farmers really do want to stay in South Africa and make it work. And I've just come from the largest agricultural show in the Southern Hemisphere with organized agriculture and farmers, and the majority of them want to stay. But they too there have a memorial to those who've died as a result of farm attacks. And as the Minister of Agriculture, it is something that I'm particularly exercised with my colleagues at police and my colleagues in the justice cluster to start making farm attacks and stock theft a priority crime. And it affects all farmers in South Africa, particularly stock theft. It has a disproportionate effect.
Oh yes, I love it. This works on right wing as well. They got their white out. They pulled a white out of their back pockets to explain to the fellow whites. Ramaphosa has a white friend. He's a white best friend. Let's go.
Small black farmers. I also want to just say this, that the two individuals that are in that video that you see are both leaders of opposition minority parties in South Africa.
Yes, well done.
Umkhonto weSizwe under Mr. Zuma.
Speaking my language.
And economic freedom fighters under Mr. Malema. Now, the reason that my party, the Democratic Alliance, which has been an opposition party for over 30 years, chose to join hands with Mr. Ramaphosa's party was precisely to keep those people out of power. We cannot have those people sitting in the union buildings making decisions. And that is why after 30 years of us exchanging barbs across the floor in Parliament and trying to get one over on each other, we've decided to join hands precisely to keep that lot out of government. Because the day they get in to the doors of the union buildings,
where are these fucking Murlocs, bro?
or control of our parliament, that's what you're going to see. And that is why this government, working
Fish bastards,
needs the support of our allies around the world so that we can strengthen our hand, grow our economy, and shut the door forever on that rabble getting through the doors of the union buildings, because then South Africa's future would be...
So you denounced that type of language in the video that you saw?
Oh yes, we've always done so, as government, as my own party.
Oh, so that's not you guys. I'm sorry, you just look so similar. What the fuck did they not even know? Did they not know that these guys are like the government and those people are minority opposition? Fuck's sake.
We are completely opposed to that. We, in 1955, adopted a document which said South Africa belongs to all who live in it.
But why wouldn't you arrest that man? That man said, kill the white farmers.
Freedom of speech. Why? Yeah. What are there laws in South Africa that mean they can't arrest him? Because that's like a. That's a pretty fucking mad. Probably because it's like a popular song as well, isn't it?
Kill the
First
white
Amendment,
farmers.
bro.
And then he danced, and he's dancing, and it's kill the white farmers. I think, I'm not sure, but I think if somebody got up in Parliament and started saying kill a certain group of people, he would be arrested very quickly. That man is going all over South Africa, and that's not a small party. That was a stadium that holds 100,000 people, and I hardly saw an empty seat. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of representation.
Oh no, not the crowd sizes. Not the crowd sizes. The EFF are speaking Trump's language now. 25. Ooh, it's a little bit awkward with the. Okay. Fuck.
And those crosses, we have dead white people, dead white farmers, mostly. And you take a look at Australia, they're being inundated, and we're being inundated with people that want to get out. And their farm is valueless, it's valueless, and they just want to get out with their life. And this is a very serious situation. And if we had a real news or real press or media, we don't have that, because they won't talk about this, because they're all guys like that idiot. But if we had a real press, it would be exposed. And you know, the beauty of exposing it is it's like a cleansing action. When it gets exposed, it'll get fixed. That's when it'll get fixed. But people don't talk about it. And I'll tell you who's talking about the thousands of people that are fleeing South Africa right now.
Thousands.
We discussed USAID and the devastating impact the cuts are having across the African continent.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
He's going to say in the middle of genocide defense again.
Devastating.
Go on. Do it.
Hopefully, a lot of people are going to start spending a lot of money. And I've talked to other nations. We want them to chip in and spend money too.
This is from yesterday.
And we've spent a lot, and it's a tremendous problem going on in many countries. A lot of problems going on. The United States always gets the request for money. Nobody else helps, as you know. Europe doesn't help. Europe hasn't given anything. All they do is sue our companies. You know, they sue Apple, and they sue all of our companies. Apple had to pay $17 billion on a nonsense lawsuit. Very unfair. But we're going to always be there to help.
My name is Sherman Rice in South African Broadcasting. If this Afrikaner resettlement issue is resolved, we're going to go into a room after this, you guys are going to talk. If it is resolved, what is the potential for the future-looking relationship?
It's fantastic. It's got to be resolved. It should be resolved. It's a little bit bad when you see a stadium with 100,000 people in it, because that means it's more than just a.
Oh yeah,
movement.
I know
it's
my.
a pretty big movement in South Africa, so it has to be resolved. it'll be the end of the country if it's not.
But is there potential for the relationship moving forward?
I hope so. That's why
I know my crowd size is Trump, don't you?
I mean, I'm not here for my health. I'm here to see if we can do something. No, I'd like to see. I have friends. I can tell you, Ernie Els and Retief Goosen, they feel so strongly they wanted to be here.
You're telling me to be careful in this cave? No. When have I ever needed to be careful in a cave, dumbass? I'm going in horns first with my 3 flash powder, 1 potion.
On behalf of South Africa,
no.
not on behalf of me.
Uh-oh.
And, you know, they said, can we be here for this?
It's just a cave.
They love the country. Ernie, do you guys want to say a couple of words or anything? I hate to put you in this. This is tougher than sinking a 3-footer. They've sank many 3-footers.
Thank you, Mr. President. And thanks for the honor of being here. We've known each other a long time. We have spoken. You know, we're proud South Africans.
What skill do I need for this mithril? Is it 175? Fuck.
You know, we travel with this passport, you know, and I got my visa here. So, you know, but we want to see things get better in our home country. And that's the bottom line. It's been 35 years since the transition.
Oh, they don't run away.
President
That's actually good
Ramaphosa
for me.
was right in the middle
It's
of
better
the
they don't run away.
transition time, in 1990, and before that. So it's been 35 years of ANC government, and I know there's a lot of anger, you know, through the transition. There was also a lot of stuff happening in the apartheid days. You know, we grew up in the apartheid era, but I don't think 2 wrongs makes a right. You know, President Mandela, when he came out of prison for all that time, didn't come out with hatred. You know, and really.
The Swamp Talker quest is level 55? Wait, really? Why are they expecting me to do it now? The fuck? Am I gonna get absolutely cooked? At least I've got dynamites for these ads. That's good. Bam! Oh no, he's strong.
Unified our nation through sport. You know, we won the Rugby World Cup in '95.
4 times.
We won the African Nations Cup, soccer. You know, we won some majors as golfers and so forth. So what I'm trying to say is, you know, this has been a long time coming. That's why we really wanted to meet you, meet the administration, and see our way forward, because we still want to see our country flourish. You know, we've got some great things going on. Business is getting involved with government. Farmers are getting involved in local municipalities, trying to rebuild some of the infrastructure that's been decaying for a long time. So there's a lot of coexistence going on and help from a lot of areas. But I feel we need the US to push this thing through. We've got a great ally if we can have the US. It's always been an ally of South Africa for a very long time. Even in the days of the war, you know, up in Angola, you know, you guys helped us. So, very important for us to have your support and you know, get the change we need.
It was the Cubans that helped in Angola, wasn't it? They helped to fight against the South Africans in Angola. South African army got fucked by the Cubans, if I remember correctly.
Did you do that well?
Oh!
He might have done that even better than he plays golf, which is almost impossible. Johan, please.
Sorry, Mr. President, if you had to wind all of those tapes properly, you will see I'm the biggest target of that rabble-rouser. Number 1 for over 10 years.
Hey, we got a group.
Mr. Mandela.
We're safe.
In fact, the first time I met him,
no problemo.
He was in the youth league with that gentleman. And look how he's changed.
Right.
We have too many deaths, but it's across the board. It's not only white farmers. It's across the board. And we need technological help. We need Starlink at every little police station. We need drones. I actually got drones donated for the peace parks to stop elephant and rhino poaching. And his predecessor stopped the importation because he said the United States would spy on us. I mean,
wait, couldn't they just get all their trade deals if they just say, yeah, there is a genocide, but we need drones to stop it? Like, and then they can just drone strike some blacks. If they just drone strike a couple of EFF guys who are about to do some mad shit, and then they go to Trump and be like, look, this is the progress, give us more, and Trump will just do it. Shouldn't they just do that? Why didn't maybe South Africa didn't donate enough, maybe they didn't devote enough funds to their fucking glazed Trump fund, speak Trump's language budget, that they didn't think to do that, because that's a really good idea. If I was on the South African payroll, bro, I would be getting so much economic, I'd be getting fucking Lend-Lease. I'd be getting wartime economies. I'd be getting the Inglorious Bastards squad down there.
US basics, the ridicule. So if you can help us. Remember, sir, you and I lived in New York in the 70s. We never thought New York could be what it became. 2 commissioners, a tough mayor. We need your help to stop this awful killing. But it's across the board. Ernie is right now building a house in George. I'm building 3 cottages for my grandchildren on a farm outside Graaff-Reinet. I often go to bed without locking the door. And we have a serious problem with illegal aliens.
Uh-oh.
Who stream across the border. And if you really look,
speaking his language,
statistics, a lot of these murders, firstly it's unemployment and illegal aliens. And then I met Vice President Vance many years ago at Charlie Rose show. My wife loved
my wife. Hey, my wife.
And she reminded me this morning that you emphasized the devastation that occurs when big companies leave towns and cities, and there's a culture of dependency that develops. I remember you discussing it. Now that's our problem. If we don't get our economy to grow, the culture of dependency
Holy
and
shit.
the lawlessness will
Strong
increase.
beast.
I've been against apartheid all my life, and I'm their #1 target. Please just Google my name and Malema. You'll see it, sir.
Yeah.
He marched on the
farm. But the crime is bad.
The crime is terrible, sir, but Mr. Steenhuisen won't admit to it, but he runs the Western Cape, where I live. And the biggest murder rate is in the Cape Flats. Gangs. We've got gang warfare. Like your M33 or whatever, these guys. We've got the equivalents there. But we need your help, sir. And we need Elon technology.
Well, one of the real areas of support is really in investments. We've got to grow our economy, because through growing the economy, we're then able to create more jobs. Because crime really thrives where there is inequality and unemployment. And that is one of the reasons that has brought us here, to improve our investment relations, our trade relations, so that we can preserve the number of jobs that your companies have created in South Africa. By virtue of what we export to you, we are able to create up to 500,000 jobs in the auto industry, in the agricultural
millions
industry,
of jobs,
and a number of other industries, mining, where we export things to you. And we also know that as South African companies invest here, you are also able to create jobs. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship. So our main real reason for being here is to foster trade and investment, so that we are able to grow our economy with your support, and so that we are also able to address all these societal problems, because criminality thrives when people are unemployed, when they have no other hope to eke out a living. So that is what we need to resolve. And your support, your partnership with us is what is really going to give us a strong capability to move forward.
Mr. President,
Excuse me, do you have anything to say? I mean, I don't want to leave you out. You know, the guy won 3 or 4 majors. 3 or 4?
No, only 2.
2. That's a lot. By the way, 2's a lot. A lot of tournaments you won too. You have anything to say?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. President Ramaphosa. I grew up in an area in South Africa that is a farmland area, Polokwane.
Yeah.
And there is some issues up there. Obviously, my dad was a property developer as well as a part-time farmer.
Uh-oh.
And yeah, some of these buddy farmers got killed. The farm is still going. My brothers run it, but it's a constant battle with farms they're trying to burn the farms down to chase you away. So it is a concern to try and make a living as a farmer. And at the end of the day, you know, without farmers, there's no food on the plate. So we need the farmers
And your
to
brother
produce
loves
the food.
farming, right? He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't even want to do what you're doing, right? They love farming. They don't want to leave. But it's a struggle.
Yeah, and you know, food and fresh water is the most important thing in life. You know, without those 2 things, we can't survive.
How is the water there?
The water is great. Obviously, all the water comes out of the borehole, out of ground for us down there. But yeah, it is a battle to get the water out sometimes.
That is a strong
all
warrior.
the equipment gets stolen all the time that you're trying to get the
So
water
does
out.
your family and your brother, do they feel safe on the farm?
They live behind electric fences, you know, try and be at night safe. But it is constant whenever you leave that something could happen. And
there's nowhere to live.
you know, both of them has been attacked in
Terrible.
their houses. My mom's been attacked in the house when she was 80. So it is difficult. But you know, the guys live a great life despite everything going on.
Something.
President Trump, I brought along the president of the largest trade union in our country, Ziggy Solosi, because she leads many, many workers, more than 1 million, 2 million workers.
Hey.
And maybe we should give her a chance to say something, because she's come all the way to join us.
Thank you very much, Mr. President Trump,
Thank you.
for having us, and President for extending the invitation to us as organized labor. And I must say that we are here to support the initiative that has been made by our government with business, of course, as organized labor. We've been coming to Washington on the AGOA.
Wait, was I level 48 when I died last, or was I 46? I can't remember, because I'm 47 now. I think it was definitely an even number. I just can't remember what. Does anyone remember? I don't want to look at the clip. I got PTSD.
Trade relations in the previous regime. And I think at the center of it all...
You were 59.
is
Shut up!
Exactly what Mr.
Fuck up.
Representative said. The importance of us growing the economy. We have always emphasized when we were here and kept on coming and negotiating on AGOA that the 600 US
46.
companies
Okay.
that are based in South Africa.
Well, we've passed a milestone.
As you said, President Ramaphosa, 500,000 jobs will be wiped out. We need more foreign direct investment in our country. We are not just talking about those that will lose employment, but we are talking about over 40% of people that are unemployed, that have no hope of ever finding a job.
We're killing too fast, though.
And we think that
Faster than they can
correctly,
return.
as they have said, that we need to deal with the issue of porous borders in our country, so that everyone that comes in is documented. We also need to, and I would have thought that the minister would address the issue of land expropriation and how the policy works in South Africa. Recently, President, as you were preparing to come here on the news, in, I think it was in Natal, there was a handover of farms, and white farmers were saying, we are donating the land, but
Three
also
oracles.
there's a willing
Dangerous.
buyer, willing seller in South Africa. So there is no expropriation without compensation, but it is a willing buyer, willing seller. And that white farmer was even saying, President, that
Holy fuck, this guy's
the government
aggressive.
is even
Jesus.
paying more in buying the land than what the land is worth of. And I think those are the realities, President, that we must say that we need to address, of course, but also the importance of agriculture linked to AGOA. people rely on it, and I think, as Retief have said, for survival and living. But lastly, for me, President, is also the issue of the crime statistics.
Uh-oh.
There is no doubt about it that we are a violent nation, you know, for a number of reasons, and we're not condoning anything. But also, if you go into the rural areas where black majority are, you would see women, elderly, being raped, being killed, being murdered, and these are black elderly women that would be found throat slits, raped multiple times, and all of that. And the problem in South Africa, it is not necessarily about race, but it is about crime. And we think that we are here to say, how do we, both nations, work together to reset, to really talk about investment, but also help us in how we can have the
Get this
technology
racist out of
that
here.
is needed, President, to really
Yeah, she's
address
microaggressing now. She's microaggressing against a white man.
Thank you very much.
Genocide is a very strong word. I'm wondering if you've made up your mind as to whether you believe genocide is occurring in South Africa, or you still have doubts. And if you have made up your mind, why invite President Ramaphosa here today for this conversation?
Well, I haven't made up my mind. I hate to see it from the standpoint of South Africa, but also, you know, I'm trying to save lives. I'm working with Russia and Ukraine. I don't have to do that. It's not our war. It was started by other people. Helped along by our
Mostly Joe Biden.
It would have never happened.
Terrible,
if I were president.
terrible
I'm trying to
warmonger.
save lives, no matter where. Rwanda, I have nothing to do with Rwanda and the Congo, but I felt I had a very talented person in this administration, and I sent him there, and he did an unbelievable job. I think. I mean, we're going to find out, but he's done the hardest part of the job. It should happen. If I can save lives, I want to save the lives. If it's in Africa, that's great. If
Is
it's
that
in
what he
Europe,
said?
if it's,
Yes, it is,
wherever
yeah.
it may be. And
He literally said the war was started by other people in Russia and Ukraine because he doesn't want to say it was started by Putin. And he knows that he can't say it was started by Zelensky because that's fucking crazy, even though he has said it in the past.
it's a very small investment to do, believe me, compared to what the consequences are. So I hope we can do something. Look, I have so many friends. These two men, I have great admiration for them because I know what they do for a living. And that's a very hard living. Going from city to city, from country to country, and hitting a ball 350 yards like they do, and
Better than you and I.
getting the ball in the hole. It's a very tough.
Lonerbox started the
with
war.
lots of people watching, right?
No.
That's a very
No, I didn't
tough
do it.
living.
What?
You know, they're champions. I respect champions, and I respect very much. And I think the country is very lucky. They really wanted to be here.
That's true.
They could be elsewhere. They could be on a beautiful fairway someplace, and they wanted to be here. So,
My name is Yanda Mhobo from Newsroom Africa in South Africa. How important is it for the United States to be at our G20 summit in November, given the relationship between our two countries? You've just heard what has been said to you just now. Are you coming? And are you preparing to come?
So without the
Preparing
United
to what?
States, the G20, just like the G7, used to be the
Wow.
G8, but brilliantly they threw Russia out. Would have been a lot better if Russia was in. You know, a lot of people would say, "Oh, that's not it," because if Russia was in, you probably
no.
wouldn't have this war.
Wow.
And if you had a different president, you wouldn't have the war either. But we have a G7.
Jingoist
It's important
Jingoist
that the
Joe.
United States is in both of them. I think without the United States,
He should have called him Jingo
it's,
Joe.
I really believe it's not very important. It's not the same meaning.
As I said to President Trump, the U.S. really originated the G20. And it's important that the United States continues to play a key role in the G20. And we are privileged to be the president of the G20. But we are even overjoyed that we are going to hand over to the United States, who are the originators. And for that reason, I expect the United States to continue playing the leadership role
Go through the dialogue.
in the G20
Wow.
together with other countries. And I've said when I initially spoke to President Trump on the phone, I want him to come to South Africa for a state visit, and I also want him to come and participate in the G20. And I want to gladly hand over to President Trump take the leadership of the G20 forward in November.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
What is it going to take to convince you
They don't want to leave.
Like yourself.
Wow, what a fucking... What a horrible event. Jeez. Thank you, White House. So the White House did elaborate. They didn't leave it there. They had some shower thoughts. President Trump is right about what's happening in South Africa. We left because of the attacks. You can't stay on a farm as a white person in South Africa. You know you'll be killed, said one refugee. Fuck me, white South African refugees. New York Post. Why white South Africans are fleeing, surging violence and racist laws for new lives in America. I didn't come here for fun. Afrikaner defends refugees. It's just statements from refugee, like a few people. It's the statements of a few white people who went to America. Breitbart, nice. Close to 70,000 South Africans have expressed interest in moving to the US following Washington's offers to resettle people. New York Times, kill the Boer saw. This is so dumb. Bro, you said there were thousands of people. There haven't even been thousands of white people murdered in like the last couple of decades in South Africa, but... Okay. I know, I get it. I know the game. Fucking hell. Ramaphosa handled himself as well as possible. Yeah, there's not really much else you can do. Oh... Twitter. Oh, what happened here? Okay, let's see. Some yeet posts. No, not now. Not now. Does anyone have the CNN news story? President Trump participates in Maha Commission event. What is Maha Commission? What is that? I don't know what that is. Ooh. Oh, make America healthy again. Oh no, that's horrible. Let me see. I'll do donos. Half an hour left in the goal, guys. What the fuck? Half an hour left. Then we'll talk about this event that has taken place. We're going back to leeches. Hell yeah. Fast and Bulbous, thanks to $5. Everything has been going downhill since Harambe was taken from us. Wow. You're actually doing a Harambe joke. Oh my god, that's gross. All right. Meme, thanks to $4.99. Welcome back, Chumba. Appreciate it. Dennis Zarzako, thanks to €10. Billy and Screeno, thanks to tier 2 subs each. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. YOLO Swag, thanks for the $9.99. It feels like post-colonial countries have a hard time during independence because the groups that win independence tend to monopolize politically without competition. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole thing about reforming and changing institutions so that they can actually accommodate the massive shifts in like power and political equality. Yeah, and if a lot of those institutions remain, even down to the point of like members of the civil service, and then if you replace everyone who was part of the old regime, then the problem as well is that you've got like a whole new set of the population that has no training or experience in like how to run the country. So yeah, it takes like a lot of people with a lot of specialized knowledge to run a country. So once you change an entire country, like, yeah, the whole process of replacing all that is like really, really difficult. That's why people have a go at America and NED for funding all of these like promotion of democracy schemes in Ukraine. But it's like, no, if you come out of a 75-year dictatorship that was basically turning you into a vassal state for another country, you're going to have like, and when you come out of that, you're going to have people seizing on the opportunity to buy assets and like monopolization, corruption, oligarchies. But you're also going to have like a democratic system that doesn't function very well unless you have people from maybe from the outside who have more experience and more knowledge on how to do these things in the country to like train and like introduce a new kind of like rhythm to the everyday runnings of society. So yeah, it's like a very, very, very complex process.